24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Welcome to Bold Moves Radio. The show is Prudent Woman with myself, RHULANI BALOYI. Thank you so much for joining us. All of you joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you. You know you're part of the conversation. Just drop your comments or your questions on our comment section. And if you are on YouTube and you have not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button so that you do not miss anything of that comes through from Bold Moves Radio. And all of you joining us through the radio streaming, you are welcome and you can be part of the conversation. Just drop your comments, your questions on 081 358 8745. Let me repeat, the number is 081 358 8745. We shall be part of, you will be part of the conversation. And thank you very much for joining us today as we end the month of July, the month that as Prudent Women we committed it to bringing in awareness on mental health issues. We are excited this evening that we have with us a wonderful woman, a woman who was courageous enough to say, I want to share my story so that I can educate others, so that my fellow sisters and everyone who will watch this show can take mental health seriously and know that you are not alone. Other people have suffered and they found help. And we are here with our wonderful sister, Livhuwani Rasimphi. She is here with us. And of course, we have our resident psychologist to close this month, the Mental Health Awareness Month, Dr. MKATEKO. Thank you so much, ladies, for being part of this show. And thank you for taking your time to come and let's educate other women and we become prudent women. Livhuwani, thank you very much. You can greet the audience. Thank you, Livhuwani, and we'd like to say thank you very much. It's not everyone who's willing to share their story to educate others. We don't have to all go through certain situations in order to learn. But once we have people like yourself who are able to come forth and say, we want to testify of what we have gone through so that others can learn from our experience, we appreciate your zeal to come through to the show this afternoon. Dr. MKATEKO, welcome to Prudent Woman once more. You may greet the audience.
Thank you. This is a special show because, you know, I always respect people who have gone through mental illness and survived and are brave enough to come back and tell us because, as you know, we still have a lot of stigma when it comes to a mental illness. So, Ceci, thank you so much for coming and thank you for your bravery so that we can, educate the community together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. MKATEKO. And of course, yes, Ceci Livhuwani, she's right here with us. Ceci Livhuwani, when we talk mental health, what really comes to your mind when you think of your journey in mental health? What basically comes through to your mind?
Mental health. But it was not easy at all. Because when you think of losing someone very close to you, I lost my brother.
Okay.
Who comes directly after me. We were very close, we were like friends. So I didn't take it easy. It was very difficult for me to accept that my brother is no more.
Maybe Livhuwani, just to be able to get our audience to understand when we say it was not easy and you've gone through a journey in terms of your mental health, if you would like to, maybe in a detail, tell us what basically happened to you.
my sister, an aunt.
Yes.
So if I can take you back a few years back, before I lost my brother, I lost my mom due to breast cancer. So we left with our father and my 3 siblings. So me and my brother, we were helping each other to build the family, as we were no longer living in the house. So after losing my mother, I had a stroke because I was not coping at all. I keep on asking myself why, most of the questions with no answers. Then 10 years later, I lost the pillar of the family, which is my brother. So it was not easy at all. I was not coping. I was keep on asking myself again different questions. Keep on asking God, why did you take my brother? Why? Also blaming myself, or I didn't do enough to help my brother because he was also sick. I also asking myself, I didn't give my brother enough time to listen to what he was experiencing by then. It was not easy. I was confused. I don't know what to say, but it was very difficult. I went very difficult journey, even losing my mind, attempting to commit suicide. When I was in hospital, sometimes I was asking myself, what can I do to commit suicide so that I can leave this world and follow my brother.
You know, someone may listen to what you're saying and say, you lost a brother. And someone may feel it's not a child, it's not your husband. But when you say how you describe your brother, the role in your life that your brother was playing, it says a lot. And you know, it's said, and throughout the month of July, we have been talking about it to say it is a sad situation that as Black people, we do not realize the importance of mental health. We do not realize how important our mind is, because your mind will never be like your tooth to say, I'm aching, let us go to see the doctor. But we don't take care of it. Nobody says anything around it. And we don't even think about it. And listening to your story, I had an opportunity to hear your story before now you narrate it to the audience. It made me realize how much we neglect the importance of debriefing or seeking for help when one has gone through certain things in their lives. And we tend to even take for granted what they may be thinking. So, Sis Livhuwani, I just want you to share with our audience, when you were going through all that you are saying you went through, what was going on in your mind in terms of the society around you, the people around you? What were you thinking about them?
Most of the time, people out there, when someone is depressed, some will say this one,
yeah.
The brother is no more. You must just carry on and accept. And it's not like that. Not referring to my story. As I told you that I was very close to my brother.
Yes.
Cope with the situation. So musi ndichiwana advice ya uri ndingawana thuso to Unicare. No, you can't go to Unicare we are mipengo. But vonodzula hangi ndi avakuhumbula zwavhuḓi. Mara nne ngauri ndi nṋe we ndavha ndi khou pfa the pain ya hetsho tshifhinga. ndapfa uri kha ndi ye haningei mipengoni ndiye ndi vhona uri hu itea mini. So I went there. I just want to say thank you to my 2 doctors, my psychologist and my psychiatrist. They have helped me a lot. They vho amba na nṋe nga maanḓa ngauri ndi fanela u ṱanganedza I move on, and I must not be in a hurry.
Yeah.
I must take it very slow. U swika ndi tshi feel pain ya uri ndi tshi feel uri pain heiḽani ya vhuṱungu ho ṱuwa ngauri u vha u kha shock, u vha u sa ḓivhi uri matshelo ndi ḓo vuwa ndi tshi khou kona na. Today wa vuwa u right, the following day wa vuwa u si right, wa vha u kha shock. Nṋe I used to misplace everything.
Yeah.
And I want to say this in front of the audience. Thank you, my daughter. She was my
Your support system.
My support system. Nda ndi tshi dzula ndo xedza dzi phese dzi ATM ndi tshi dzula ndo sia dzi phone na mushumoni nda ndi tshi dzula ndi soko pfa uri I must be in my space alone.
Yeah.
Ndi sa nyagi u vhona na vhaṅwe vhathu. Ndi tshi pfa everybody a tshi khou netisa ndi sa koni u cope. So madokotela anga they helped me a lot. A tshi dzula vha khou amba na nṋe na dzi activities though vhaṅwe vhathu na ni tshi pfa dzi comment dzavho dzo uri my brother passed on nga ṅwaha wa COVID and he didn't pass on nga COVID. But hey, why are you not coping? Smamang has lost 3 members of the family by COVID. So yours, it was just sickness. I still remember the other lady Mushumanori. At the relationship here, those people.
Yes.
Now, myself and my brother, we were very close. And my brother played a very big role in the family. She was like a glue to all of us. So, atikonu compare the pain that I'm having, not the other pain,
that other people are having.
And I'm not saying mine it's special.
Yes.
Mara, I'm feeling pain to extend your no ndi chivuwa ndasikopfa ndisanyagi uya mushumoni ndisanyagi in that situation ine ndavha ndi khou vuwa ndi tshi khou fanela u vhona vhathu vha mushumoni and everything.
You know, your story says Livhuwani teaches us that when we see people who are going through stuff, they are not selfish. They are not seeking for attention, but it is real. And you say a very important fact to say, you do not know the relationship that the others had. You do not know what they feel. So your loss may not be the same as the other person. You know, throughout when we talk of medical science in this show, we say, unfortunately, there are limitations in terms of scientific research, but each and every individual is unique. So we may go through the same thing, we may lose the same brother, but our uniqueness will even inform the pain that we shall feel. It will be unique. So Prudent women, I think, is this type of testimonies that should teach us that we should not think people are seeking for, attention. They are selfish, but we should give space to another person, and we should reach out when we see that someone is going through a challenge. It may not be a loss of life, but any other thing, we respond individually because we are unique. And I would like us to go on an ad break. When we come back, Livhuwani will tell us how she managed to seek for help and what sort of help she was able to receive for her to be sitting with us today as you listen to a testimony to hear that she had given up on life. But I'm glad because the lady that I'm sitting with this afternoon, she's got a smile. And that's a testimony. It says she has overcome it. And you can also overcome the same or whatever challenge that we are going through. Let us go on an ad break. We'll be right back with you. is Prudent Woman with myself. I am RHULANI Baloyi. Today we come to you as we conclude the month of July, the month that we brought to you the mental health awareness sessions. Today we are talking on a mental health journey that our sister Cecile Livhuwani Rasimphi went through, and we have our good doctor, Dr. MKATEKO, who is our resident psychologist, to talk to us as we finished our month. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have just joined us, please be part of the conversation. Drop down your comments, your questions on our comment section, and please do not forget to subscribe to Bold Moves Radio. As we continue, before we went on an ad break, Cecily One took us on a journey of what she encountered after she has lost her brother. And we are back. Cecily One, let us talk on how you seek for help. How did you go forth and look for help? How did you finally find your psychiatrist and your psychologist? What encouraged you to do that? Because in most cases, most especially in our culture, we have got so many myths around mental health issues. People do not believe you can go through that, and they do not believe you can go to a psychiatrist if you are still yourself. We classify everyone going to a psychiatrist as something else. How did you find that courage to stand up and go and seek for help?
I have a very supportive family. My sister, she's the one who recommended me to go to see the psychologist. So I went there. RHULANI, the psychologist, amba nga maanḓa. To extend our musi ndi tshi khou attenda dzi session a vhona ndi sa khou vha right. A then refer to the psychiatrist. Then upfa the word psychiatrist zwa ita uri ndi tsho uri yo zwi amba uri ndi zwa vhukuma nṋe ndi nga vha ndi khou penga hafha.
Yeah.
Mara musi ono itiwa dzi arrangement dzoṱhe dza uri ndi khou fanela u ṱuwa u ya sibadela. Ndi tshi swika sibadela nda vhona dzi section dzanga dzo thoma ndo vha ndi sa khou phi. Ndi tshi dzula I was always blaming myself for it. A thongo ita enough mara madokotela havhaḽani vhavhili thi vha amba na nṋe nga maanḓa uri iwe a u khou fanela u ḓi blame mani.
Yes.
Ndi zwithu zwe mudzimu vha zwi ita nga nḓila yavho. So iwe u khou fanela u thusalea, you must get help and move on with life. Dzi session dza ravha ri tshi dzi attenda hangi dzo vha dzi helpful nga maanḓa. Na dzi group discussion na dzi activities dza ravha ri tshi ita ndi dziṅwe zwa zwithu zwo ita uri ndi kone u fhola nga u ṱavhanya. Seeing and hearing the stories zwa vhaṅwe vhathu though zwi vha zwi sa fani na nṋe, it was a loss ya loved one. Vhaṅwe vho is something else. Mara u share musi ro dzula ri tshi khou share muṅwe na muṅwe a tshi khou amba zwiṱori zwawe u a kona u pfa uri no hezwi zwa havha ndi zwinga ndi zwinzhi u fhira zwanga. So rini ndi tende na nṋe ndi ṱanganedze uri mini ndi khou fanela ya on na life. Ndi songo sedza hezwo zwa uri unique hu ya vhathu vhane they are not okay ṱhohoni vha khou vhaisala. Nṋe ndiye ndi sedze zwo sika help uri ndi kone u ya phanḓa ngauri I am a mother, ndi auntie and everything. So huna vhathu vhane vho ntsedza vha khou nyaga u vhona vhutshilo vhu khou ya phanḓa. Yes. And I must just accept or my brother it's no more and a nga si tsha vhuya. Hu ḓo tou sala dzi memories dzavhuḓi dze ra tshila naye.
You mention a very important element to say you have a very supportive family. What was the role of your family in you being able to seek for help?
They were there, though it was COVID time. They were not allowed to come to the hospital. But the phone calls dzanga navo vha tshi khou amba na nṋe navo uri kha ri farisane kha this journey uri ri kone u ya phanḓa. Vho lwa nga nḓila dzoṱhe uri ri vha ntsapote. Ndo vha ndo sia na ṅwana a yeṱhe hayani vhaṅwe vha vha tshi ya vha vha naye vhathu vha hanefhaḽa around hune ra dzula hone vha tshi khou mu checka every now and then na nṋe vha tshi khou ḓi nchecka every now and then uri ndi kone u vha right vha khou mbudza ḓivho ine vha mpfuna ngayo ene ndi a zwi ḓivha zwa kuma uri vha
they love you. Yes,
nga maanḓa support ya lufuno vho mpha nga maanḓesa.
I specifically ask what was the role of your family, because I wanted to bring out what you said to me, to say what's important is to see the people who are around you showing that they also believe in what you are going through, and they also trust that you can get help, because you were able to trust. And I would like to believe some of the assurance that you got when you were referred to a psychiatrist was because your sisters could tell you, no, you're not mad, but you have to listen to what the doctor is advising. So it's very important, Prudent women, that we should show support. And support does not mean you must do things that are beyond you, but is to do the little things, as she's saying, knowing that her children are well taken care of at home. It's support. But the family, I love them because they didn't say, we'll deal with it. We'll sit down and talk to you so that you understand that our brother is normal. But they said, go and seek for professional help. That goes a long way. And it says to me, you've got such a wonderful family. And this afternoon, we'd like to say thank you to your sisters, and thank you so much to your daughter, because you referred to them as your support system. And we appreciate them, because they are one in a million, most especially in our culture, to have people who will understand that mental health, it's an issue. It's a reality. It's not something that someone fakes. They did not take it that you were seeking for attention, but they understood and received you, and they were able to assist you to get help. Let us go on an ad break, and when we come back, Sis Livhuwani will just share with us a coping mechanism, because I would like to believe this is not a once-off. You didn't go to the hospital and once off you are done, but there may be coping mechanisms that you were taught or your doctors shared with you that can be beneficial to some of our listeners. Let us go on an ad break. Welcome back. This is Bold Moves Radio. The show is Prudent Woman with myself, RHULANI Baloyi. We are having a conversation this afternoon with Livhuwani Rasimphi. She's taking us through a mental health journey as she lost a very close brother, and she's sharing with us on how she dealt with the challenges of her mental health as she went through such a loss. And we have with us Dr. MKATEKO, our psychologist. Thank you so much, Livhuwani. Yes, we've heard you went to the doctors. You are doing well. I see you smiling. You going on with your life. You are working. But I know that losing a loved one, it's not something that you go through it and that's it, you forget for good. And having gone through what you went through, surely there are times where you need some way of coping. What will you say are your coping mechanisms that you like to share with our audience?
One of the mechanism that I did 2 weeks after we buried my brother. I don't like. I used to hate people with tattoos. So, ndari amapetu ndingaita mini just to have my brother next to me every time. Ndakabudza my daughter ndari ndikoita tattoo. Tattoo irana dzina la my brother. Zvabvidi ndandofuna kuva nadzina in the photo. Mara ndari zvichikoitiwa that tattoo ndava ndikupfa pain. And for now I'll just do a smaller yana tattoo with his name on my hand. Or every time he comes into the ndichikumubona anepo. So my brother ndimo mutu wadzijoke wava nadzijoke ngamanda. Achifuna kudzura kuri hey aredheri musirodzurawo chidiwawo chikuleiwawo kogochiwa vakudza vatu ri aredheri. So nari ndodzura nadzisiblings dzanga nari taridotoonara my brother.
Yes.
Rive nachimwe chitu rambodiita zvikipa zvine zvikodova maketeni zvomura kupfa redheri sikudzura ari kumuhumbura ngadhe uya vachifuna kuita ngauraro zvimwe zvitu.
That was making sure that you still cherish the memories that you shared with your brother.
Yes.
And something that's very important because, when a loved one has passed on, in our culture, they will say, no, just forget about it, it's done. But the thing is, someone has lived with you. You will forever have those memories that you want to cherish. And that's very important for one to acknowledge and be able to be bold and say, I'm going to do this because I want this memory to live with me forever.
And then I still remember Musindichikobudza, my psychiatrist, kuvoita tattoo. Areyo, ukopora.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Zvembauri. Zvimwe zvitu zvoita uri ndive right. As I've said, I've got a very supportive family and friends.
Continue.
I have supportive family and friends. Musi ndonovia zibhadhera vamwe vava vachinjia vanyisa out for dzimasaji richiya dziouting uri ndikonohangwa zvimwe zvazvo zvingi zvava zvichikuita yange chila chimwe. And it helps so much ndivona ndichikobva ndaya umwe petu ukurisa kudzura inside the house. Sometimes ndichipfaura I must just sleep 2 days. Ndisabvi ndisaipetu ndisakoni chimwe chifhinga ndisakoni kula zviḽiwa mara izvila zvitu it helps me uri ndive tsini navatu. We went out raya dzimasaji raya dziout rasvika radzura dzipakani namini zvontusa ngamanda.
Oh, thank you so much, Sis Livhuwani. Dr. MKATEKO, you've heard the testimony of our sister and what she went through and how she went through it, the methods that she used, the coping mechanisms. But we also know that we are individuals and unique. Yourself as being a professional within this stream, what will you say, having seen a number of people who went through the same things that she went through, what will be the other methods that tends to help people who have gone through loss like herself?
Okay. Every time when I speak on our show, I always say that it is very important to get to know as much information as you can, get educated as much as you can, and that knowledge is what will help you basically cope whenever you feel, or rather when you go through episodes of those emotions of grieving. For one, we need to understand that grieving is unique for different individuals, like you've just indicated. The reason why it is unique is because we have different thresholds of pain, meaning that we some people are more resilient to traumatic issues than others. And this does not mean that if you feel these emotions more intensely than others, you are weak. You are not weak. It's just the way that your psychological makeup is. And then
Yes.
also, you need to understand, you also need to learn as much as you can about, being hospitalized concerning our mental illness. Because for one, I remember what Ceci was saying earlier, that she felt that if she had to go to the hospital or when she had to see the psychiatrist, it means vele vele, wapenga. This is what we normally say in our Black culture. But being admitted helps in so many ways. One, you are stabilized through medication, but also the most important part is you get validation when you are admitted. You now start realizing those group activities or therapy, you start now understanding that, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm just reacting in a normal way to an abnormal situation. So those
Yes.
are the things that we can learn. And also, we also need to understand that it is not weakness. For instance, I'll give an example with Christians. As Christians, we feel like if I have a mental illness or if I go for therapy, rather, it means that I've got weak faith. It's not as clear cut as that. And actually, therapy is one way that God is actually trying to heal us. So there are so many ways that we can go through this, and in coping, get help as much as you can because you are having a psychological crisis, and try as hard as you can to make yourself understand that you must be selfish about your mental health, because like I said, it's your main switch. If it goes off, everything else is gone. So be very
Yes.
selfish. Try not to care what others say about you. Knock on every door until you get the help that you need.
Dr. MKATEKO, someone may be asking themselves that I do not have a medical aid, or even if I have a medical aid, they are not aware whether medical aid will cover this. Will they be able to afford the cost of such help, professional help? What will you like to say in terms of seeking for professional help, more especially to someone who's having these questions, to say, I do not have the money to go out and seek for professional help? Is there provision in terms of our government facilities for people such as those?
Yes, ma'am. Our South African health system, healthcare system, it might not be perfect. I think we are actually one of the best in Africa and even in the world. And the public healthcare service in South Africa, we might be having challenges, but we have a lot of services that are available for free for people who actually need these services. For instance, most people don't know that if you are having a psychological crisis, you can just walk into an ER and try to consult just like a person who is bleeding good. Just like a person, I know they will send you to the clinic first. You can go through all of those, but there are circumstances, especially if you are family. Because in most instances, I, the patient who is having that psychological crisis, I'm actually in most cases not aware because I'm not stable mentally. But this information now, it's for the family to know that you can actually get that person admitted. You call the ambulance, but the paramedics will not take that patient without the police. So the
mm,
procedure is to call the ambulance and call the police at the same time and then explain to the police what is happening. So then they'll be able to admit that patient.
mm, mm. Thank you so much, Dr. MKATEKO. You know, it's wonderful and to hear that as a country, our health system also provide for things like these ones, like
Yes.
mental health treatment. And it's just said that because we do not know what
Mm,
we ought to know, then we're not able to use these facilities. Because I know, even myself, let me say, before I started interacting with yourself and our psychiatrist, our resident psychiatrist, Dr. Dr. Ngwenya, I
mm-hmm.
never thought one needs to go to a psychologist. I thought it's on a psychiatrist. It's only when you are crazy. You are no
Yes.
longer thinking straight. I didn't know something that you always say, to say you need at least once a year to go and debrief. You know, such
Yes.
things we think the mind does not need such things. It's only
True.
your tooth and all these other elements in your body that needs that. And would like to say
Yes.
thank you so much for showing us that our minds need a servicing as well. It needs to go to the
True.
doctor. It needs
Mm-hmm.
to at some point go and say, I'm going for a service, just like how we
Yes.
do with our vehicles. And we've seen throughout the month of July the different disorders. Yes, of course, we could not cover all of them because there are so many. But as we continue as Prudent Woman, we trust that we'll be able to bring in some of the other disorders that we could not touch. But of course, we always say we are here to spark conversation. So, as much as
Yes.
we've sparked conversation on mental health issues, I would like to believe the prudent women, those who are wise, those who seek for knowledge, because the word of God says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You'll go on and make your own research, get to educate yourselves around these things and know more, so that if your loved ones happen to undergo such things, you can make sure that you come in and enhance the quality of their lives. Because when you have mental health issues, you find that you are not living at your best capability. But when you go out and seek for help, that's when you'll improve your quality of life. Thank you so much. We do not have all day to be able to have this conversation. Yes, we love to talk and continue with this session, but our time is gone. I would like to invite you, Cecily Livhuwani, as you bid the audience farewell. What is it that you like to say to someone who has lost a loved one like yourself, whom has not yet found the opportunity to get help like you did?
Mm, to the people out there, azingokhakhea we are to the psychiatrist na the psychologist to seek help. Zwi a
Yes.
thusa khamusi vhane vha si kone u ya kha dza private sa zwe vho dokotela vha amba,
Mm,
vha nga ya zwibadela
mm,
na dzi kiliniki na kha dzi NGOs. Ndi pfesesa uri zwi hone hezwo zwithu, vha ye vha wane thuso
yes.
ya uri muhumbulo wavho u kone u humbula zwavhuḓi na u ṱanganedza kha thaidzo iṅwe na iṅwe ine vha vha nayo, na musi i si ya loss ya zwiṅwe na zwiṅwe.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. We cannot thank you enough, Cecily Livhuwani, having been bold to come and share your story. I trust that other people have learned from your experience, from your story. Dr. MKATEKO, as you bid farewell to the audience, what would you like to say as we close the month of July, where we were bringing along mental health awareness?
I think maybe I'll just make a quote to say, especially since this is Prudent Women, the same way, what I love about women is that every year we go to the gynae to check for fibroids, cancer, and all of that. We drag our husbands to physicians and all these things that we have to do. The same way that we do that is how we should be proactive about our mental health. We don't need to wait until we have a psychological crisis. You can go at any moment. For an example, if you have been married for maybe 5 years or 10 years, whatever interval that you can choose, we grow, we evolve in these marriages. So you need to go and find out or reconnect with your spouse. So these are some of the examples that I can give. Children growing, children moving out of the house. So let's not wait for us to be depleted, our resources, emotional resources to be depleted, and that's when we can run there. Let us be proactive the same way that we would if we had any medical condition.
Thank you very much, Dr. MKATEKO, for coming throughout this month, and Dr. Tembani for teaching us on different mental health disorders, and for your sharings, for your enlightenment on the importance of mental health. Would like to say thank you very much, and all of you who have been part of these conversations would like to say thank you, and let us go and make sure that our families are never the same. We make sure that we are a blessing in those families by ensuring that if one of our loved ones are suffering from these mental health issues or disorders, let us demystify the myths that have been said in our communities, because there's a lot of myths around mental health awareness. Let us be ambassadors who will stand up and say it's not spiritual, it is not something that they've done for themselves, but this is a real situation that needs real solutions. Let us rise up and let us make sure that they get the help that they need to get. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'd like to say thank you to the technical team, DJ Messi, and of course our executive producer, Pastor Strike Manganyi. Would like to say thank you. We shall be with you next week, same time, same place. And of course, as we finish this show, go and grab a cup of coffee, because the Living Word Outreach Program with Pastor Frida Matebula, it's coming, and on Monday up until Friday from 6 o'clock in the morning up until 6:30. Yes, of course, we have the devotion. Different men of God are there to lead us as we pray for our nation, praying for ourselves, praying for the church and our loved ones. And of course, on Tuesday, we've got the African Experience. On Thursday, we've got Love SA. And of course, at times we have Minkonzo ya Tingwazi. So make sure that you subscribe to Bold Moves Radio so that you do not miss all these wonderful shows. Have a blessed evening, even as you go and enjoy the Word of God on the Living Word with our favorite pastor, Pastor Frida Matebula. Have a blessed week ahead. Thank you.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.